Hello? Hello?
Let the tranquilizing begin.
Oh, yes. Roan has cracked open a red, and here soon he will be feeling fine.
It's the only source of sugar
Yeah.
I get to have every 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
goddamn carb diet.
So, hello everyone. Thank you for taking a break from your waiting for queue times through World of Warcraft and watching PewDiePie play through Man of Medan and all of your knuckle cracking waiting for Astral Chain to come out. For coming here and joining us for this little escapade through the internets and all that. So, Jacob, you've been busy on World of Warcraft, haven't you?
A little bit.
Not
as busy as a lot of people, though. A lot of my friends are, racing to the lands of Azeroth right now, and, definitely gotten higher level than I am. But, World of Warcraft launch was just like a lot of the old launches. You log in, and if you don't log in early enough, you're going to have to wait in line because there's a lot of people playing, and, when World of Warcraft launched, they only had plans for an X amount of servers. They planned at the very most like 1 million people within the first month.
They thought everyone had moved on.
Yeah.
Turns out, nope.
They planned for 1 million people when day one, and they exceeded that amount within the first month really quick. And then basically they had to expand out to, it got damn near, I think, 12 million?
At their precipice, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 12 million players at one time. And yeah, man, it's been a blast of the past, and I think it's awesome because a lot of like my younger brother and stuff like that, he wasn't really old enough to play WoW when it came out, so now they get to kind of go back and see what it was like when we played, and so far everybody's loving it and praising it. It's really cool.
Finally got to meet Catham face to face and put a face to the voice that I'd been hearing talking mad shit on Overwatch for so long.
Yeah.
And he kind of matches what I expected. And also another thing too. When we met up with him on the shoot the other day, while we were out filming, I thought to myself. I thought to myself the immigrant song.
I can't get my voice going though. So
That's
that high.
You gotta
Pitch.
squeak it.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Well, yeah.
It's just gonna not be good.
Give me your best Herbert the Pervert voice. Hang on.
You want?
Come on, let's see.
I don't even.
Your deep
I can't even think of what that sounds like. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Come on, you can do it. Squeeze it real quick.
Dude, no. I'm just gonna fucking embarrass myself.
Could you imagine Herbert singing the immigrant song? He's like, we come from the land of the ice and snow, from the midnight.
I can do this, but it's still, you can still hear the deepness
Here's the
in
next
it.
part.
Hammer of the gods, don't you feel so clean? And whisper tales of gore, how we come, the tides of war. We are your overlord.
So yeah, you could play on Grobolus with us, and it's a role-playing PvP server. You don't have to role-play at all, but man, like when you pick characters and just stick with it, it makes the best shit ever on that game.
Actually, there was a long time ago, I had a conversation with Micah, and it was, what if Darth Vader, instead of being played by James Earl Jones, was played by Christopher Walken?
No. Christopher Walken?
Yes. Could you imagine?
I thought you were going to say Herbert the Pervert.
No, not her. Not that.
I thought you were gonna say
No, we were
Michael
going to go
Jackson.
like, imagine the pauses that would have happened. It's like Luke hanging from the side of the thing, had to fall into the pit in Empire Strikes Back. He's like, he told me about my father. He told me you killed him, and he goes, no, Luke. I am your father. Just the pauses that he would do is like all of a sudden he's like it'd be that name no longer has any meaning to me. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, but Mike and I, we acted that whole scene out. It was friggin' hilarious, and we thought we could do like a funny overdub of Darth Vader.
But with add in the breather sounds. Still gotta have that breathing voice in there. Yeah.
been really, really impressed by the bad lip reading videos for the Star Wars songs.
Which one?
I mean, they're old now. I mean, hell, we've been listening over years. But the someday when you are older, you can get. You know, you ever heard it?
No.
You haven't heard it? Oh shit! That and the Bushes of Love were fucking awesome. Seagulls, that's what it was.
So the WoW thing, has it kind of suffered from the whole microtransaction kind of thing as well?
No. This is classic. There's
so they don't
no microtransactions.
No fucking anything. You can't
so they kind of
get
just
to level 40, and it's a long grind between 1 and 40.
So they're basically just relying on like the money from like buying just the game.
No, it's still a subscription base, $14.99. You don't actually even have to buy the game nowadays. As long as you're subscribed to WoW, you can play the retail content, or you can play classic, and it's just the classic servers right now. So you kind of get 2 games in one. You get the retail and classic for $14.99, and of course to play retail BFA, you have to actually buy the latest expansion, Battle for Azeroth.
Yeah.
And you know, Battle for Azeroth, there's a lot of people who sit there and just say is a terrible expansion, and they're not playing retail until the next expansion.
And his name is John Cena!
That's a donation.
That's a big ass donation.
What is it?
What the?
Oh,
ow. Okay.
Mother Russia
What do
saying
we
no
got?
medical problems for you. You watch
Don't
American
throw
States.
your back.
Stop.
Thank you. Thank you.
What'd you get?
$350 from Living.
Oh,
Damn.
shit.
Kitsune! What the hell?
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
man.
That goes into the Xbox,
They send a meme?
whatever next generation.
Did they
fund.
send a meme, Nick? Or did they just donate? Okay, let's see what they sent. Jesus, that was fast. I did not expect that. My whole thing is just... Aw, that's cute.
It's like the kitties.
Aw. Oh, that's cute, though. Oh, I jumped in the water. Hopping across the buildings. Hey! Over the rivers.
Singapore.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's like my second favorite.
Really?
My party through all the
Oh, that's so sweet.
When
Yay!
Looks like a Pokemon. It does. Does anybody know what that's from? I don't know.
That's from Pokemon. It is a Pokemon.
Yeah, it looks like the Pokemon art style too.
What's the name of that Pokemon, Nick? Okay.
I'm only familiar with 151, so.
Second gen. I'm familiar with first and second gen.
Hey! Hey, going to space!
Oh no!
Bird, we salute you! Have fun in space! Yay! Go for it, go!
oh man, is it? Oh no, yeah, that was gonna be like the Challenger or some
Bye,
shit.
Furry.
Yeah,
No!
That's-
No, it wouldn't
Oh.
go that far.
But yeah, okay. When an advanced alien civilization comes to dominate our planet,
Well, if
we
they
need
see
to
that, they'll
show
decide not
them
to.
that first, and they'll be just so
Well,
utterly confused.
They will be lined
They'll
up
just
coming
leave.
to Earth. They'll be lined up trying to come to Earth.
There's a waiting queue. It's like a convention.
Everybody's trying to walk into Earth. They want to come get some of that land, get one of them.
So,
animals.
We'll just be here
So-
on Earth. Here's your
No.
lanyard and your gift bag.
But when they
Gosh.
get there, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's not real."
yeah, what do you think they're going to say when they see this podcast? They're going to be like, we made the right decision. We saved the world from experiencing this yet again. But,
Well, thank you for that donation.
Oh, yeah, I got another one there. I don't know what that one was. Who
I
that?
got one from Freelancer Game.
Hey, Freelancer man,
Freelancer
much
guy.
appreciated. So,
You want to see that one real quick?
yeah, go ahead, Nick. But,
RT short of
oh no.
Hey guys, I got some good news and some bad news today. The bad
Short on
news
cash.
is that we no longer have the budget to make RT shorts anymore.
Oh God, what's the good news?
There's no good news. I was going to think of the good news when I was saying the bad news, but I forgot to do that.
How can we be out of money? We've cut back on everything, including the office first aid kit.
Thoughts and
Hey, look, if
prayers.
you want to get upset about the lack of money, blame Chris. He's the one who took the RT budget money down to the horse race track and lost it all.
Okay, I looked for that briefcase of money everywhere, okay? And they said if it turned up in the lost and found, they'd call me. So does this mean our next short is going to be the last one?
It's actually even worse than that. We can't continue to make this short right now.
We can't afford to make the short we're currently in? You think the audience will notice?
I hope not. But of course, the first thing they know is going to be the star talent.
Ugh, this is ridiculous. We used to be able to do the craziest stuff. Like, remember? We used to play paintball in that field full of trampolines during that fireworks show.
Up. Sorry, no expensive flashbacks. Oh, what? That was easily the coolest thing we've ever done.
I know. But if we even want to finish this short, we can't have any flashbacks, no reveries, no special cameos.
Hey guys, Millie Bobby Brown wants a tour of the studios.
Nope.
I don't think we can sink any lower.
Look, we can always find shortcuts, okay?
Oh man, not the camera crew.
Yeah.
I'm a really good director of photography. Also, Blaine's finger is in front of the lens.
Well, this means we can finish the short, right?
Are you kidding me? We can't even.
Nope. No good audio either. It's the steps back, man.
Hey, that sounds like my life.
So. Oh yeah.
Yes, that's like everything.
I'm pretty sure RT's doing just fine on mine.
Thank you so much for the donations there. I mean, that last week was a trying time for me because of my back and everything. When for those of you who are not aware, I tweaked my sciatic nerve very badly. I was trying to lift a tire out of the back of my truck so that I could. It was actually when after I took the podium from here over to my mom's house, and I my back was hurting a little bit then, but I thought it was because I hadn't stretched or maybe I slept awkward. But then I reached down to grab that tire and I lifted with my back instead of with my arms, and then I hear something just like pop, and I feel like a piercing pain go up my back and down my legs, and I immediately realized how I messed up.
Yeah,
but
this is the moment that Nate realized
I thought to
he
myself,
fucked
you know
up.
what, I'll go inside, I'll put an ice pack on it, I'll lay down, I'll take it easy the rest of the day, I'll be fine. I wake up the next morning and I cannot move. I roll over in my bed and my back is literally on fire.
You texted me that morning.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I texted you to let you know because we were shooting that day.
Yeah.
We were shooting,
Not
and
just shooting, but shooting on a treacherous hike.
but here's what happened. I roll out of my bed and I crawl over to my desk and I pull my phone off of my desk and I call my mom. Yes, a 31-year-old man
Hey, I
still calls his mother to come help him fight me. But anyway, that happened and my mom took me to urgent care. They injected me with a steroid to get rid of the inflammation and help with the pain, and they also gave me a moderate pain reliever. They said I asked them for one that I could still drive under because I had every intention of still going to the shoot that day.
You still showed up?
I did,
Yeah.
but y'all wouldn't let me carry anything.
I was like, nope, I got the crew.
Shit, yeah, I'll put that fucking big ass canopy on my back. I got it.
Well, I remember that.
Oh,
But
yeah, Jack,
I get
I'll
there,
lumberjack that one.
and I am slow getting out of my truck. I'm just like,
Yeah, and then had to hike like a quarter mile to the
yeah,
film
and
set.
I had to take my time. I had to take like 2 breaks just to get down there the first time. And then after a little, I remembered I actually had some liquid ibuprofen, or not liquid ibuprofen, liquid acetaminophen, liquid Tylenol. I had that on me, and I decided right then and there, you know what? I'm just gonna down a cup and a half of this, because that's the maximum dose that you can take before you start seeing things. Anyway, I do that, and the rest of the day, I actually don't remember that much. I don't.
Shooting went really good. I mean, everything.
From what everyone said, from what I heard, I actually threw the knife a lot at the tree.
Oh yeah, you threw it at the ground
you
too,
were out
like
there just like,
less than a foot from your foot. I was waiting for you.
Really?
You were throwing it pretty close.
It would
like,
bounce back sometimes and come near his foot.
well, when I'm saying
Well, I had
when we,
shoes on.
when we
I had shoes
you guys
on.
were
I wasn't
filming,
wearing
we were
flip-flops.
chilling under the canopy, and he was just like, chunk, and just dropping it, and it would just go into the ground, like less like 6 inches from his foot. Like,
I was
what are you
raised around
doing, dude?
knives, man. I mean, the only thing is, I'm not used to that knife, and I can't really throw it as well as I can the other knives that I've had in my life. But over the next week or so, my back started to feel a lot better. But then, where I'm uninsured, the medical bill came in, and it was a whopping $341. And
You gotta love that American healthcare system.
hey, they fixed me up, man. They fixed me up, so I'm not angry. As long as I get the care that I need, I don't mind. But at the same time, it killed me.
I suffered from res sickness in World of Warcraft a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's when you you die so many times at area and you spawn back at the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're res sick for 25 minutes. It's real
Oh.
I know, it's so bad.
Yeah.
And I just hearthed back to Goldshire and started,
So, all right. So, me having not really any knowledge of World of Warcraft, when you die, do you like drop your lose
you
a
come
whole
back
bunch
as
of
a
stuff?
spirit and you have to make this long, treacherous walk back to your body. And then
By treacherous, do you mean like you might not make it back to your
Oh,
body?
well, no,
Like your
it's more
Silver
or
Lance,
less like you gotta walk
Oxy,
for 5 minutes.
Abby,
and it's like a
Union
long
Jack the
walk.
Ripper.
Okay.
You're like, God, hurry.
But like,
This is why you
won't,
need
like,
an
lose rank
NHS.
or anything. Or
No, you
If we
get
had an
damage, that's
NHS,
Alright.
if we had an NHS Union Jack, I'd probably would take it. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, it really depends on the type of healthcare you get. Nick, shave your head. No.
No, don't tell.
There was
no.
a demand made in the chat for Nick to shave his head. No. No. Let's look right here. Right here. You looking at me? No.
You can make a solid wig
He's
out
in
of
a
that.
metal band. He needs that long hair. It's
Yeah, he
part of
does.
the
He
attire,
needs that hair, especially now that your brother has sort of joined in as like a hired gun.
Yep.
Yeah,
basically.
he's
hired guitarist.
I will say,
Yeah.
hey Nick, if you can like take your hair just for like a day and do it like one of those like 1.5 foot long
Dragon Ball Z style?
spikes or some shit.
Wayne Static.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh God, I can
I don't know how you would do that, but I don't know how you do it. I can't fucking get my hair when it's like 2 inches long to fucking stand up. So
I might eventually do like a hairstyle where my hair is still long, but it's like shaved like on the sides. If I can find a barber shop, and I think I might have found one, I just gotta talk to them. Apparently there's one in Piney Flats. But I want like a Viking style haircut actually.
Oh, get the Ragnar. Get the Ragnar going.
get like the braids and stuff for the beard.
Well, no, here's the thing about Ragnar Lothbrok. His hair, he had fairy twists in it. In the sections that were long, he had like, you see, fairy twists are effectively like Norse dreadlocks. Effectively, it's where like mud and stuff would get caught up in the hair and would just like kink up to where it would be pretty much like uncombable.
Yeah, they didn't have any Head and Shoulders back in the day.
No, well, dude, even if you did have Head and Shoulders, it wouldn't be enough to untangle that friggin' thing.
Yeah.
But eventually they got to where they just decided to keep wearing it in their hair. It was sort of a sign of a warrior. Like you got mud in your hair because you were a warrior and fought on the battlefield, and it was seen as like a warrior's rite of passage.
So, did you see the Warcraft movie?
Yes, I did.
What about you?
I did.
It wasn't that good, was
No,
it?
I honestly did.
Travis Fimmel was pretty good in it, but
his parts were amazing. I
and
just thought the acting on a lot of the other humans, like the mages, and it was just atrocious.
I might have mentioned it on a earlier podcast, but yeah, that is probably the one movie I've ever fallen asleep in the theater.
It was boring. There were sections of it that felt like they were an hour long, but it was just 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, it really did.
The pacing was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I did think the orcs had some of the best CG I'd probably seen in like most CGI anime stuff. They did so well on that.
Yeah,
Travis
I
Fimmel
agree.
played a great part, and I thought the Alliance armor was really cool. Although I think it's a little too shiny.
Oh yeah,
it needed to definitely be roughed up.
I do.
especially
Yeah,
since
I
they've
think
been-
the color, from what I remember, the color on it was a little intense. Like everything was just
It was very
too
pretty.
colorful.
It was trying to pop pretty, kind of like the WoW cinematics.
Yeah,
and
it
can't
was.
quite do that with
It was
real
like
No,
playing a
live
Halo
action-
4 game or something.
Live action.
Look
If
at
I were World of Warcraft, if I were the creators of World of Warcraft, you know who I would hire to direct my film? I would have someone who's worked under Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
If Peter Jackson said no.
Andy Serkis was the co-director for the second unit on all the Hobbit films.
Yes.
And he's also directed a bunch of other films and stuff. And I think Rise of the Planet of the Apes he was doing. I mean,
he was a second unit director on Dawn and War for Planet of the Apes when Matt Reeves took over as director. Okay. Matt Reeves also great director in his own right, but Andy Serkis, he's actually got greenlit as the new director for the next Venom movie. Okay. Which I'm excited for, because if you got someone like him who loves how to dig into a character with a split personality like Eddie Brock in Venom, I'd love to see how he does that, because his work as Gollum. His work as Gollum, his work as Caesar, amazing work, amazing all around.
He's an actor that went into directing. That's it's not uncommon a lot in the longer scheme of stuff, but we're talking about directing major technical roles of, massive units.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and thousands of people you're covering.
When you're talking about someone who is experienced with that kind of scale in terms of dealing with people, Peter Jackson's one of the best, because you look at how long the productions were on the first three Lord of the Rings films, and you see it wasn't just a 6-month shoot or a year-long shoot. It was almost 3 years, including reshoots.
Yeah, and same thing on The Hobbit. They actually counted down at the time. They actually planned for 2 years, and then basically stuff fell through. They couldn't make it in time, so they pushed it to 3 years.
Yeah, they had like a whole.
And then almost half of the entire last movie was completely rogue. No shot list, no storyboard. Just go at it. And he said if he had not directed movies for the past 20 years, he wouldn't have the experience to be able to pull it off. And he barely pulled it off.
They had like a whole logistical train throughout New Zealand.
New Line Cinema, what they did effectively with the Hobbit films is they told Peter Jackson they wanted him to split it into 3. Originally, he wanted to do just 2. 2, I thought, would work perfectly.
I'm kind of glad they did 3, though, because, I mean, that's a lot of characters to kind of go through the development process.
It is, but at the same time, we learned more about the orcs that they were fighting against rather than the dwarves that we were supposed to be traveling with. I mean, the only ones we really learned anything about were Thorin, Firi, and Kiri, and that's it.
Yeah, really.
And you had that romantic subplot with Kiri and the elf girl, played very well by Evangeline Lilly. She actually did really good.
Who's the actor that played as the guy from Watertown? He had the boat. He snuck him in.
Luke Evans, I think is his name.
Maybe. Well, World of Warcraft and BFA, they actually got a town that's like Watertown, and I actually really liked it a lot. Yeah, man. I love the Hobbit movies. I thought they were great. I know there's a lot of criticisms and stuff.
I still have to watch
them. For me, the fluff that's in between all the stuff, instead of focusing on the characters that we're supposed to... I would love to have learned more about Bombur and Bifur, and also Balin and Dwalin. I'd love to have learned the story and the parallel between the two brothers right there. Because Balin was Gimli's uncle. And he was idolized by Gimli. Gimli idolized Balin. And what did we learn about him? Jack for shit.
Not much.
But that being said, Peter Jackson is a very talented filmmaker. I'd say he's one of the best out there. In terms of epic scales, I'd say he's probably the best director. In terms of like personal storytelling, I would probably say Fincher.
I bounce back and forth between him and James Cameron, but James Cameron is actually working with the Weta Workshop, which Peter Jackson.
You got to think he's doing a lot of the shooting in the South Pacific and everything, and you got to figure, hey, New Zealand's right there, Australia's right there. Why not pick from that? Pick from that field that's got plenty of valuable
over
assets.
There is pretty hardcore.
Well, dude,
a lot of film jobs there.
Weta Workshop and Wingnut Productions, where Peter Jackson does all of his productions and everything down there. It's amazing.
Now, James Cameron with Avatar, that was 20th Century Fox, right?
Yes.
So now, since Disney bought them out, that
doesn't necessarily mean anything, because he can go to a different distributor.
He probably has enough money to do it all himself.
Because Lightstorm, James Cameron's company, is the one who produces it.
Okay.
Now, if they go through if the distributor effectively what the distributor puts up. If they put up budget, they get more hearsay over how the film is produced.
Yeah.
But they don't. Cameron's putting up his own money for it.
Yeah, it's
he
like $1
believes in it.
billion.
Now,
It's his own
now the
crew,
distributor,
creativity.
now the distributor on the other hand, when it's most of the stuff when the movie's already made and they look for a distributor, the distributor puts up an X amount of money for advertising and stuff like that. Yeah, and also theater placement as well. They pay theaters.
Expensive.
It is. It's very
Super
expensive. And if he goes to, say, Universal or another distribution house that can rival Disney, because if Disney owns not only Marvel, not only 20th Century Fox, not only all like Star Wars, but they also have dibs on the Avatar series because of their acquisition of 20th Century Fox, we got a problem. We got a big problem.
I'm kind of starting to. That's the thing. Like the whole the Disney Plus thing. I feel like I'm not gonna even touch that because Disney is getting a little too monopolistic.
Well, they're getting monopolistic. It's a lot like Google. I mean, it's just like, for instance, name a competition to YouTube.
I've been looking around for alternatives, but
I mean,
YouTube is
exactly.
all there. I mean,
there aren't any because anytime one springs up, who's there with a big friggin' check to buy him out?
Big old Nerf hammer.
Yeah.
Then I actually have a Nerf hammer. It's an inflatable hammer.
Yeah.
Needs to be. I mean, a company is going to need some sort of ultra innovation.
Well, they need huge backing.
Yeah.
A company would need huge backing to get that, and there aren't a lot of billionaires out there who are willing to go up against the tech giants who already have a massive foothold.
What about Microsoft Bing?
Well, here's the thing about Microsoft, though. Microsoft, they've tried things and it hasn't worked, but Mixer is actually doing a lot of really good things with the streaming platform. For instance, they're not doing the crap on Twitch where, oh my gosh, this person's streaming a game that may or may not have nudity. Banned. Instead, you as a streamer, if you see that the game does have nudity and does have this and that in it, you mark it as for mature audiences, and then you don't get flagged or anything like that.
It actually has ratings on the streams when you go to watch. It's like, this stream is rated.
I was actually thinking about that today. Like, if I actually do get into doing some game streaming stuff, I'll probably just skip Twitch and just start doing Mixer.
Well, Mixer is where a lot of people are saying is it's the new starting point.
Yeah.
Because Twitch, as much as I loved the idea of Twitch like 5-6 years ago, heck, 10 years ago, back when it was just on TV. I loved the idea of that, where people could go on there, share their video game experiences. Heck, there was one I used to watch a long time ago. It was a guy, him and his friends, they played through scary video games together. They played through The Condemned, where you actually fought a bear, where the bear scene where you fought this bear that you had to outrun it. You had to put blockers in its way and everything and put as much distance between you and it as possible. And some of their reactions were absolutely hilarious because there was one guy who was literally screaming the whole time and blowing the microphone out. And it was absolutely hilarious hearing him scream.
Yeah.
And to what it has evolved to today is as soon as Amazon bought it, that's when you started to see issues with them trying to cater to certain crowds instead of catering to everybody. A literal platform for anyone to come onto and try and put their craft out there. But instead, they give special treatment to certain individuals. They give huge benefits and huge bonuses to people who they tag as influencers. For instance, they gave PewDiePie a shit ton of money to start up a streaming platform on Twitch that he never uses. All because they wanted more people to show up there because, hey, PewDiePie's on Twitch now, come check him out. Boom. There you go. And you see, I'm not going to say Mixer hasn't pulled the same thing. Mixer pulled a big one when they pulled Ninja.
It's Microsoft. You know, they're gonna.
Well, of course, they're going to spring a huge amount of money on an influencer. But here's the thing: Ninja versus PewDiePie. Ninja is a dedicated streamer. PewDiePie is a funny moment / let's play type, which I'm not against. I like both types. I like watching if a person's entertaining all stream long. More power to them. But at the same time, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, Like, for instance, Ronda Rousey. If Ronda Rousey all of a sudden tomorrow decided, hey, I'm going to start my own gaming channel on Twitch, come check me out.
You would actually have a lot of people would log in.
Of course. Yeah, everyone who likes Ronda Rousey. I mean, and plus, Ronda's a gamer. She plays World of Warcraft. She plays a lot of stuff. Well, not so much since she almost ripped her finger off. Did you hear about that?
WoW, you can play WoW with your toes.
Did you hear about that? Did you hear about her almost like losing her finger right here?
Break it off or something?
Well, she was on set on this TV series that she was filming. I forget exactly what it's called, but there was a scene that called for her to exit this boat through this huge heavy door, this huge heavy iron or steel door that she was supposed to push up until it hinged over like that, and she was supposed to come up, put her hand on the side of the thing, and talk that, and say that she didn't find anything underneath the boat. Anyway, she pushes it up. She doesn't push it up far enough, but it teeters. It teeters right there at the perfect point where it's supposed to hinge back, or where it's supposed to fall back forward. It stayed there, and unbeknownst to her, it didn't go back. She sets her hand down there.
Oh no!
Pow! She showed a picture. Pretty much the first digit of her middle finger right here was gone. And her finger was effectively twisted off, and a little bit of skin was keeping it on right here.
Yeah.
On her right hand, too. That hurts.
Hell yeah, I would...
And here's the thing. She was planning on going on vacation after she did that, but the doctor said, no, with that kind of injury, you don't want to risk losing that finger. You're going to have to be dedicated and stay here.
So she'd be admitted to get it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the phone's about to die.
Going back to the Disney thing, I mean...
Yeah, go ahead.
The fact that they're growing so large that they just kind of own all the platforms in the media, they're going to be so, they're going to be so lame and careful and safe with everything, and
I don't know,
of course, because they got to tailor to China now.
I don't know. Well, Disney Plus, they're putting out a series called The Mandalorian. Have you seen the trailer for it?
I have. But
so one thing you have to understand, you do have the parent companies, you got the distributors, you got the studios, and then you have the film crews. These film crews are contracted in with them. They're not owned by Disney. They're not ran by Disney. For example, it is possible for
but
me
Disney
to work
still has
on a Disney production one day, and
But I mean, Disney's still going to have the final say when the production is done.
To a point, yes, but they have dedicated teams for certain things. Their Star Wars crew is a dedicated team for their Star Wars movies. So, you can't blame it all on Disney if the movie's not exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, Disney does have a certain influence when it comes to, let's say, something that's an SJW topic. Something that's...
that Kathleen Kennedy had no problems talking about.
I guess my concern is whenever I think of Disney... Whenever I think of Disney, my mind immediately jumps to kids' movies. It's meant for kids or family-friendly movies, and so it's not going to have any kind of,
Well, I think the violence that's shown in Star Wars is enough.
Well, but you see, they can flirt with that borderline. They can flirt with a PG-13 borderline. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean. When the first Pirates of the Caribbean dropped, I was shocked as to how violent some of the parts were.
Deadpool. I mean, did you see Deadpool? I mean,
well, Deadpool, that's 20th Century Fox.
Oh, is it? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought Marvel. I'm still confused on a lot of the Marvel thing, which ones are who. But, sorry.
You see, the thing
all the X-Men related stuff.
Well,
20th century.
You see, the thing is, they're pretty much going to turn 20th Century Fox into their more adult-oriented, like
HBO.
Sort of. Well, not really, but sort of. Sort of how Deadpool is a thing. They're going to keep Deadpool with 20th Century Fox and release an R-rated Deadpool film through 20th Century Fox, not Disney. And if they used to have, they still have other studios that they can release stuff through. I mean, Touchstone Pictures, which is owned by Disney, that's usually where they release their R-rated films and stuff like that. But with 20th Century Fox now, 20th Century Fox is known for not having a limit on what their films are rated. Yeah. I mean, you look at the Marvel films that have come out here recently through them. I mean, Logan. You look at Deadpool and Deadpool 2. All three of those films are rated R, and all three of them tremendously successful. Now, what you get with that is you get the more adult audiences. And you might... here's the irritating thing for me. I saw this when the first Deadpool movie came out. There were so many mad parents that took their kids to see that. No, really, this happened.
Oh, no.
My friends work at a movie theater in Abingdon, Virginia. For them, they had so many parents cussing them out and telling them that how dare they show a movie like that that's supposed to be for kids. And I'm like, and I'm sitting here like literally, if I had 3 hands, I'd do this. Like a triple face palm.
With
it's
one
like,
on the side.
honey,
One
do you
coming
not
out
know
of
how
your
to read
stomach.
rating systems for movies? It's rated R for a reason. There's violence. There's sexual content. There's a lot of foul language. It's
Deadpool, first of all. I mean,
yeah.
Deadpool's pretty much always been like that. I mean,
but
from what I've heard, I'm not.
Oh yeah, Wade Wilson has always been a loud-mouthed, foul-mouthed, violent, sexual deviant. That's who he has always been. I mean, if there's... And the thing is, Ryan Reynolds fits perfectly with him because Ryan Reynolds has the mouth to back it up. Yeah. He's got the believability to back it up. And also, he's not afraid to poke fun at himself. I mean, Deadpool 2 was
fun at the whole cast and crew.
Yeah, Deadpool 2 was a perfect idea of that. Because he made fun of himself big time in the end credits. Did you see what happened at the end of the end credits in Deadpool 2?
I don't think I did.
There was
Oh yeah, wait a minute. I did, but
it's the one where he gets like the time watch and goes back and fixes a bunch of stuff.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Oh my god, dude.
I didn't.
Okay, I'll tell you one of them. It's Ryan Reynolds, like real world Ryan Reynolds, sitting there reading a script, and he's just like, brilliant. And it turns over, and you see it's Green Lantern. And then all of a sudden, blood spray hits the script, and then it pans back over to Ryan Reynolds, and he's got a hole in his forehead now, and he falls down forward on top of the script, and it's Deadpool standing behind him, and he puts the gun down and says, "You're welcome, Canada." That's one of my favorites. And then there was also the one where he literally went back in time, and he was in this little baby nursery thing where there were a bunch of babies and everything. It looked like an old one, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And then he walks up and he's just like, "Oh, well, look at you! Oh, look at you! You're doing your little salute and everything." And then he looks down. He's like, "Sure, I got the right baby." And it looks down and you see the little sign on the thing. It says Adolf Hitler, and he's like, he's like, "Okay, I can do this. I can do this. You're not making this easy, little guy." Okay, here we go. Couldn't stop laughing. There was so much messed up stuff, but it's still funny. But then it cuts back later, and he's actually changing the baby Adolf Hitler's diaper. He's like, "That's why you were so upset. You had a dirty diaper. Now, if I do this, you promise you won't kill anybody?" Okay. But yeah, it's them having fun. Yeah. And
but I think as far as PG-13 violence goes, I still think you can make a great movie without having to have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I need like fucking.
Look at Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame, they cut friggin' Thanos' head off. Spoilers in the start of the film, and you get some pretty haggard violence throughout the film. I mean, sheesh.
Yeah, I'm not saying I need the fucking Rambo level gore.
Why not?
Every time.
Why
but,
not?
I mean, it's exactly why.
It
was an awesome scene. But yeah, I mean,
if I'm watching Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna expect some gore.
Yeah, I don't need it to turn into a Saw movie.
I'm excited because James Wan's directing, or I think he's producing it. James Wan is producing the next Mortal Kombat property.
But here's the thing: is a lot of good movies are built on, kind of like doing controversial things and stuff like that.
Some of them are. Some of them depend on the controversy. Other depend on the fandom.
Yeah, and especially like Disney being such a big company and China being this massive market that they have to tailor to now if they want to make their money worth it. Well,
they can have their
that's the thing.
versions.
It's not about making versions anymore. They're making the version that the CCP is going to approve, and we just have to fucking put up with it. And I think
it is in that case.
That's if the numbers. That's if the numbers in China outweigh what we have here in the States.
No, they kind of do.
In certain films, they do. For instance, the new Fast and Furious film that just came out, Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Dude, when it came out in China, it blew up.
Yeah.
it made more money over there than it did here in the States. So Universal's actually
kind of on the
thinking
Bollywood
about,
level of stuff, like the overly cheesy stuff.
Oh my gosh!
I can't get into that.
Well, I think that's like Transformers, whatever it was, the fourth one. I mean, that kind of shit that we don't care about anymore.
Well,
they love that. But
there's several Chinese films that have had huge budgets and have been like huge. Like for instance, The Dragon's Blade, which pulled in some pretty big name American actors. I mean, it pulled in John Cusack and Adrian Brody. They played two Roman warriors. They were brothers, and one of them was wanting to make peace with China, and the other wanted war. And it was actually really interesting. Although it's Hong Kong cinema, so the action's going to be big and ridiculous. But it was still a huge film, and it made a lot of money. It actually is. I think it's China's highest grossing film ever. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I don't think China's necessarily afraid to have violence in their movies. Like The Great Wall was
anything
that was a bad movie, but it had plenty of gore in it. But
anything that shows China in a negative light, is
and
where they have a problem.
they love stuff that shows the U.S. in bad light, and Chinese.
Of course they do,
Chinese good, U.S. bad, and
here's a prime example. Back in the mid 2000s, there was rumblings of a Red Dawn remake.
I remember, and they switched it to North Korea.
Exactly. Originally, it was China, but then they had to go back and do reshoots and do CG, and they made it North Korea.
Yeah.
And
North Korea, when the country that can barely feed itself.
Yeah. Eventually, there'll be a whole scale where they can't place an actual country with a bad guy. Eventually they're gonna have to make up bad guys.
This bad guy from
Sintonese Island.
Persia, Africa,
We can pick on them.
like Perso Afro Russiastan or something.
Yeah.
Just
as long as it's not a white person, bad guy.
But what about the Sintonese?
Nah,
they can't defend themselves.
There's plenty of white bad guys. I mean, look at Bond. Bond is just filled with nothing but Euro trash, like villains.
The fucking it Tomorrow Never Dies?
Goldfinger, Christopher Walken, A View to Kill, Scaramanga. All of them are friggin' Euro trash, and it's just pick a country, spin a wheel, bad guy from here.
What was the last one that Pierce Brosnan was in?
That was Die Another Day. Yeah, that was North Korea.
Where literally they made the Asian bad guy turn into a white bad guy.
That's true. Here we are. Head shoots for both of us. Whoops.
That was
this movie.
The Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies. They're fun, but they're just stupid.
They're a bit over the top.
Well, I liked. Okay,
I wish he would have kept doing it. I don't really care for the.
I like Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig is good. It's too serious. They take themselves too seriously.
Here's one thing you'll learn about it. There's certain Bond eras that are serious and certain ones that are goofy. Now, the serious ones, Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Sean Connery's were mostly serious. There were some light-hearted moments here and there, a little bit of dry humor. But then when Roger Moore took over, dude, the amount of ridiculously and the amount of shitty one-liners and puns that James Bond made.
I like the gunshots that sound like car doors. That's
that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Literally, I was like, that's a car door sound. It's like.
Oh, there's that.
I was like, wait a minute. What? Man with the golden gun.
And I've noticed this with a lot of action movies. Why do we always see the bullet effects, whatever, the impact effects, always happening at the person's feet? Are the people just aiming for the people's feet all the time? I know it's supposed to imply that these people are shooting at them.
The thing is, you have to imply it has to hit something.
I know.
That's why if I ever film an action scene like that does have bullet holes, it's going to be them running in front of a wall, and the bullets are hitting behind them, or are hitting above them, or something in front of them.
The Matrix or something.
Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, that scene in the lobby is beautiful, and how it's filmed. I mean, the long takes that has, it effectively. Which, speaking of the Matrix, there's another one on the way.
Whee! Wait, there is?
Yes.
4,
oh, fuck.
Keanu Reeves.
Nobody tell Ron. He's going to lose his mind.
Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Lana Wachowski have all signed on to be a part of it.
Is it a sequel or a reboot?
Sequel, from what people are saying.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know how to didn't Keanu Reeves
Is it just kind of rumors now?
Well, no, here's what happened. Carrie-Anne Moss's character, Trinity, in the real world, did die. Her, like, she got
impaled. Fucking crowbar or whatever, like,
she
rebarred.
got impaled by the machine, by, like, parts of the machine building. And then Keanu Reeves' character, Neo, effectively just had his existence wiped. Now, what they might very well do is, bring him back, and if they found Trinity's body, who's to say that they can't do something like they did in Mass Effect 2, repair her body to where it can support a vessel again, and then reinsert her into the, because they said that reinsertion is impossible. However, they made the promise that they could do it to Cypher. Now, who's to say that they couldn't do it, but do it with Trinity and Neo for them to come back and effectively try and save the world? I don't know. We'll have to see how it all plays out, because
I mean, I'm trying to, as I'm thinking about that, I mean, they wrapped up. I mean, everything was kind of nice and tidy with the Matrix, more or less. I don't know exactly where they could go from there.
Well,
but
I don't know either. But if there's one thing,
unless it's like a movie about the machines helping humanity rebuild, because that Earth is completely fucked.
Yeah, it is. But what I'm thinking that they'll do effectively is they'll work in a reincarnation angle. Because that's the one thing about the Wachowskis that they really believe in. They really believe in reincarnation, and if anything, they'll have a new Neo and a new Trinity, but they'll be in older bodies somehow. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on how they're going to do anything.
Don't know,
but
still gonna watch it.
But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to see how the Wachowskis do it.
So is that just kind of rumors now?
No. It was confirmed by Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Lana Wachowski individually that they are working on another Matrix film.
But there's no like trailer or anything yet, right?
No, not yet. Not yet. Well, it's right now they're doing the pre-production.
Got it.
Whereas Keanu Reeves' next film project, I think, is going to be the 4th John Wick film, and then he's going to bow out of the John Wick franchise and start working on the Matrix films. Because right now
there's only so many other assassins you can kill.
Well, of course they got to wrap it up, because they didn't end it in the 3rd one. I was like, okay, so how are they going to wrap this up?
Still haven't seen it. Don't spoil it.
No, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm just like, really? That's where we're ending it? I know, because I was just like legit concerned. I'm like, that's ridiculous. I love this film, but Jesus Christ, can't John ever get a freaking break?
Can't get a break.
What, did another dog get killed?
You'll see.
All right.
You'll see. I ain't saying anything else.
Right.
Nick,
we got any memes?
how many memes we got? 2? Okay.
Nope.
Play them up. Woo!
He said, "Hey guys, guess who passed his mega motorbike test?"
Hey!
Also, has ended in the UK, but woo, mega motorbike.
Congratulations, Union.
Dude,
the dissolving of Parliament. I heard about that.
Fucking Boris Johnson.
Getting shot in game. Getting shot in a cutscene.
Dead.
Officer, no, we can't have a bear. Polish army gets a bear. Officer and bear after a week. Hitler, when the 6 people sent to kill him failed. Fine, I'll do it myself. Name one character who could beat Captain America. Historians.
Communist man
exists. The United States. Soviet Union. It's just a fire. There is no radiation. Chernobyl employees.
You're not wrong.
I need someone to ambush the Germans with this outdated farm plane. Boys, no way I'm flying that thing. I'll get shot down. Girls.
Hey, wanna fly the plane?
We have a population of over 1 billion people. America, we are the strongest nation on earth. Great Britain, I used to rule the world. No war for a few years. Europeans, Father, I crave violence. I fought the Nazis for 46 days. I fought them for 4 days. I fought them for 12 hours. You guys fought the Nazis? The Japanese, a white flag. China, if you bring any more opium, you better bring an army with it. Cause we are fucking done. England, brings opium and an army. China. A true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because some jackasses from a neighboring city, state stole the town bucket. Plato after winning arguments against his fictional characters. Everyone is stupid except me. Naming your military operations nonsense, so the enemy can't get any tips. Naming your military operations after former great leaders.
That bucket thing, I think it was like Germanic states or Italian. I think it was like medieval Italian states, like
I think so.
Venice and Florence and stuff were.
Yeah, they stole the town bucket, so everyone go to war.
So stupid.
It's like, why are you fighting a war? A bucket.
Yeah. Bucket.
What's next?
Next.
Wait.
Oh.
Bucket.
Next we have one from Tony Cannoli.
Yeah. Tony Cannoli. Thank you, Tony Cannoli.
Cannoli.
Pasta da pizza.
Here at the Adult Swim version of 2000.
Oh no!
Sometimes we
Steven
miss being
Universe
able to work with
trailer.
real
I saw
great
that.
kid shows.
It's the nature of the job.
Sure, but even so, this time we couldn't resist making a little something for the upcoming Steven Universe movie because we love Steven so much.
It really is such a good show.
Let's hope we did it justice.
Okay. I saw the first season of this and I thought it was okay, and then it started to grind on me.
Steven, what took so long?
Beach City is at peace.
Wow, little homeworld's growing fast.
What?
Everyone's ready for a little R&R.
I want everything to stay exactly like this and never change. How's the future look, Garni? Will we all stay just like this forever?
It's like a Sims game.
But fate has other plans.
What's going on?
Are you Steven Universe?
Yes?
What?
It can't be.
Oh, but it can be. And it is.
Now, Steven will have to race against the clock to stop Earth from being destroyed.
That sounds bad.
That looks bad.
That is bad.
Because in this fight, every second counts.
Anyone can fix this. It's you.
Can Steven save the Earth one more time? Or is this friendship's final
That's
fight?
his erection light. Ding! Erection complete.
Dude, he's a kid. Come on.
We'll find a way to save the Earth.
Oh God. Okay.
I don't know if I can get into that or not. I'll have to check it
Look,
out.
well, okay, here's what I'll say.
Weird.
See if you can get through the first season. If you make it through the first season, you might be able to stand the rest of it. But me, I watched the first season. I thought it was okay. Started to try and watch the second season. I'm just like, yeah, these characters are interesting, but overall, it's not.
I'm a little hard to entertain sometimes.
Well, for one thing, it's got music in it that's just fucking awful.
Oh, does it?
I know I'm gonna get shit for that probably from the fans, but the music is god awful.
Only thing I know is that the one song, the Giant
very
Woman
important.
song, all I want to do is see you turn to a giant woman. Giant woman. Yeah. I heard that I heard that on repeat for like I don't know, 30 minutes, and I wanted to literally headbutt my screen. I was just like, why is it playing in this forum? I just want to find out why this character is this way, and someone's got it on, and they've got it on a permanent loop in the friggin' forum. Leave me alone. It's like look, I love the theme of the Dragonborn. I mean, Fusrota, dun 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 dun.
All right, real quick, for the chat, anybody? Just because I meant to, we had talked about it.
30 minutes straight in a forum when I was just looking for one answer to one question. I'd want to hurt somebody. Yep.
Anybody in the chat, if you want to make suggestions for what I should dye my hair, what color I should dye it this next time.
Yeah, it's up in the corner, actually, right up above his head.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a. If you actually click the screen, it'll. Oh, my phone died. Can't do it. Yeah, if you actually go to the live stream, and tap the screen, the little eye that pops up in the corner. What color should Roan dye his hair?
Oh shit! Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll check that out afterwards.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
I'm hoping for either red or white.
Red or white?
Red or white.
Red or white.
I can't just do blue because that turned into kind of green, and I can't do green because it was green.
It was green, so yeah, I get that. I vote Super Saiyan. Actually, you know what? I would love to see you like Super Saiyan God with like the blue hair or like the red hair, like the first form of Super Saiyan God, where his hair is red. I'd love to see that.
We try it, hopefully.
Oh yeah. Well,
we'll see.
God, how long have we been going?
About
an hour or so.
56 minutes.
56 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Nick.
God.
God.
So what were we talking about before the beams there?
You should start playing World of Warcraft.
Oh, that.
Lose your life like the rest of us.
Yeah,
It's like asking somebody here, try heroin.
Okay, the thing is that again, my focus is trying to get stuff done for my universe, and
that's the thing about it. If you don't have a lot of time to play WoW, don't play.
I'm playing right now. I'm playing through Infinite Warfare again. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Oh, really?
I like it. It's one of my favorite Call of Duties. I think that's probably the best one, in my opinion, the best one since probably Modern Warfare and Warfare 2.
Well, Modern Warfare 2 was my last, really, really favorite one.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 3 was okay. It finished the story for me, but it wasn't as good as the first two Modern Warfare. And then everything since then was kind of meh. I didn't give a shit about Black Ops at all. And then the ones they dropped in between like Ghosts and stuff. Advanced Warfare, I was alright with that. I kind of like that whole thing with the PMCs and stuff. Kind of made me reminiscent of like Metal Gear Solid 4 and stuff. But yeah, but so that's what I've been playing lately. But right now, like I'm designing ships for my universe, like warships and stuff. How
so
they're
you're
supposed
being
to
more
look.
productive, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm trying to, again, I want to dive into the book, but before I do, I want to kind of have a set visualization for what my characters look like, what the ships and the weapons and kind of the general look of everything. Have a solid, like a physical, something that I don't have to just rely on my memory for, because that can gradually shift, and having something, an image there creates a consistency that I could stick with. So.
And you're doing all these images digital?
Yeah, I'm learning simultaneously. I'm also learning how to use Illustrator, which is great.
There you go. I was about to say you need to start putting them in there and do a audio book with visuals. Like slide.
I don't. Yeah,
visuals. It don't have to be like crazy advanced, but just their images coming up when it needs to.
Yeah.
Stuff like that would be. I mean, I could watch stuff like that. World of Warcraft or Blizzard does a lot of skits that way. Like when they release a new character, it'll actually have.
That's kind of what I like about like the Unreal 3D, or I'm sorry, the Unreal Engine, and like what was it, the other one, Unity or whatever, where like you can just bring up the file, and you can immediately look around. I mean, obviously you can do that with any 3D
have you
program.
Been playing around with Unreal Engine for? Really?
I mean, only to look through the store and stuff and see what they have to offer. I've downloaded like a bunch of the Paragon characters, and those are no longer in
learning how
use.
to piece it all together and put it in there takes a lot of time and work.
Yeah, I haven't dived into
very,
the
very
user mechanics.
rewarding, because you can keep that. You can keep this level, this world, and you can film it. You can film it in the game. You can set the camera movement.
Oh yeah, that's actually how they film cutscenes.
Yeah, that's how they do cutscenes and everything. And it has all that kind of built into it. But it also your animations, you do have to pull that from like 3ds Max or Maya, or I guess you're using Blender, right?
Well, I mean, I kind of use a mix. Like, so I've been, as of late, I've been using Unreal. Or I'm sorry, 3ds Max and Maya. That's what I've always used to. I've been using Daz 3D for like my characters and stuff, because they have a good store that has a lot of assets to use from that. But I do want to kind of expand. Like Blender apparently has this new update that has a whole bunch of new features. Like the control system for Blender is like
it's a lot of user-based stuff.
Before I couldn't get into Blender because the control interface was completely different. It wasn't conventional. It wasn't like Maya or 3ds Max, where now it's a lot more conventional. Your left click mouse does what it's supposed to do, and all the 3D programs.
That's the problem I had with 3ds Max and Maya. It was just oh my god. I can never remember this.
It's one of those things. If you just jump into it, there's so many options. It's overwhelming because you don't know what it is, and so
kind of how
every now and again I kind of have to crash course stuff, and I kind of have to learn as I'm working. But yeah, I mean, as much as I want to play video games, I don't. I'm also kind of short on funds too.
I have to make myself time to play games, at least 2 hours at least a night. Like when I get off work, whatever I'm doing, if it's schoolwork, editing, staying up late writing, whatever script I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do too. No
matter what, as soon as I get home at nighttime, I kick back and play at least a couple hours.
That's what I'm trying to do with Infinite Warfare right now, and I'm looking at like probably playing some older games. Like I kind of have a twitch for some either Star Wars Empire War or Command and Conquer. I haven't decided which one because there's so many mods out there now that people have made for those games that like it'd be cool to try them out. I know I played a few mods of Command and Conquer Generals, and they're pretty fun. So
that's good.
But yeah, so that's So I'll play video games when I can, but mostly it's just I'm trying to.
What server are you on? And WoW Classic.
Me?
Yes.
I'm on Ramble Alliance side right now.
Ramble.
Hopefully, if I can stream it, I'm going to be playing on Horde side by Astral.
Nice.
Me, I haven't played WoW in a long time.
Yeah, and this is kind of restarting because everybody has to start back at level 1. There is no high level 60 yet. The guild,
carries over.
The auction house has not been oversaturated. The economy has not collapsed yet. So it's like, wow, this is nice. I mean, it's a breath of fresh air of being overwhelmed by so much crazy, useless shit to do in modern. It's just simple. Now you can kind of focus on what matters: actually playing with people, grouping up, socializing, and kicking ass.
You know, there's an aspect of World of Warcraft that people have talked about for the longest time. It's the girlfriend aspect, and how much it makes their girlfriend suffer. What do you make of that, Lavina? Oh,
nope.
Yeah,
probably at home
playing Overwatch,
playing video games right now.
Goes to show you, man. I mean, she's dedicated to it. I guess.
I guess I've got the boyfriend.
Yeah, the boyfriend. Which you're out doing your own thing, and you're having fun and all that.
As long as she's having fun playing games, that's all matters,
Yeah.
As long as someone's happy doing what they do, let them do it.
Exactamundo.
And
so
she's been doing the little streaming thing. She's been testing the waters with Twitch and Facebook, and she might be possibly trying to mix her a little bit. Just kind of see what platform she really wants to go with first before she goes in there. And but she's been doing pretty good with it. Her we checked out her highlight reel a while back. That's what's on her main focus right now, is just really getting those real ass-kicking plays on Overwatch. But she resubbed to WoW Classic, so she's now going to be playing with us a little bit. So
I saw her post a picture on Facebook about the wait times, and like, oy.
Yeah, queue time's not fun.
Oy vey.
Sometimes it goes really fast. Sometimes it actually takes that long.
Goes like a turtle.
Yeah. When it says 120 minutes, that means it's either going to be 30 minutes or 120 minutes. So sometimes, like, we played, and apparently there was a massive amount of people that got disconnected at once. Like, and I just got shot up like 3,000 into the queue. I was like, yeah.
Apparently certain zones on certain servers were crashing, so it probably was a zone and the server crashed.
But Blizzard, having a backup plan, they automatically opened up like a bunch of other servers too. So if you don't want to play on the high pop server, then totally get it. Me, I'm sticking with it. It'll eventually go down to where everybody else, all the casuals will leave, and then the hardcore people will stay.
I'm assuming they have like, just a whole set of servers that are dedicated to certain games, and if like, I'm assuming like if they don't have like some of these games that are just not being played or whatever by enough people, they could probably just retask some of those servers. Yeah.
Some of those old servers are really old though, so like the World of Warcraft servers are very new and updated. The processors that are in there can hold potentially 20 times as much as they could back in 2005.
Yeah.
So used to be a terabyte was something really awesome. Nowadays a terabyte can fill it pretty quick,
Are you able to hear Jacob's good with his mic way down higher?
Had a little low because I was vaping. Sorry.
Very good.
Nick. Don't want to ear rape nobody.
Nick.
Vaping.
What?
Can you hear Jacob? All right.
Okay.
No, not the vape.
Oh no. Okay. I was just talking about me.
All
Yeah,
right.
I can hear Jacob all right.
Okay. Yeah. He just had his mic like 3 feet away
I had
from
it
him.
like right here. So.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually turned him up at the beginning.
Gotcha. All right. That's why. So
There it is again.
we got a couple Star Wars shows. Have you seen them?
I have. seen both the
So we got the
Star Wars.
Mandalorian one.
We reacted to both of them. The Mandalorian, I'm interested in because the guy who's playing Mandalorian is Pedro Pascal, aka Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones, the man who got his head crushed by the mountain. Remember, the guy with the spear?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, him.
Nice.
He's playing the Mandalorian, and Also, it's got Werner Herzog, Carl Weathers, and Gina Carano in it. And it looks movie quality, even though it's a series.
Yeah.
Which I'm all about.
I like the thing where it kind of went like old Western with it, where I know he's like tapping his pistol or whatever. It was kind of.
I love that stuff. It reminds me like in StarCraft when Jim Raynor, he's at the bar drinking whiskey and he's got his like old style revolver sitting on the table. But yeah, this is like year 3000 in Deep Space Voyage. It gives that dirty space mercenary look, you know, and that's essentially what it is.
And also, it looks like they're gonna go. I hope they go a more hard edge with it, because it's the Mandalorian and it's effectively like full-on bounty hunter. This isn't a guy who's a Jedi or anything like that. He is a like
just a warrior,
nitty-gritty, just tough guy.
Yep.
Who knows how to fight and knows how to get a bounty.
Speaking of which, the group at familiar with the 501st Legion and the Mandalorian Mercs, they are super excited right now. They're supposed to be doing some kind of big event over at the theater for it. They cosplay as the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
When does the Clone Wars show, like the season 7, when does it start again? I'm assuming it's on Disney.
I forget.
Yeah, I love that's probably my favorite stuff out of anything Star Wars is the Clone Wars show. I don't know if you watch it at all.
No, actually haven't.
I would give it a try. I think if you watched it, you would have a whole different outlook on Anakin. He's so that the character that they may have him in the show is so much fucking better than what they have in the prequels.
Well, of course, because they have a full series dedicated to expanding his storyline versus the film, which the first line we ever hear from him is, "Are you an angel?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And they have what is, in my personal opinion, I might offend some people, but my opinion, best character in Star Wars, period, Ahsoka Tano.
Well, Ahsoka, the thing with her is that she's not just in Clone Wars; she's also in Rebels.
And Rebels and stuff.
Which Rebels is a good one too.
I think it kind of comes down to just because I know she kind of started off, kind of childish in the end because she's like a child. She's literally a child soldier.
Apprentice. What did you expect?
But I mean, just her story, how well they flesh her out as a character, it's so good and everything.
They've done a great job with that. I mean, it's a lot like when they flesh out the character Walter White. I mean, you see, Breaking Bad also is having a little bit of a revival here soon as well because of El Camino. It's a continuation of the Breaking Bad story, which follows Jesse Pinkman after the events of the series. And anyway, that you want to talk about a series that does great character development within just a couple of seconds of seeing the person on screen. There's this guy throughout the entire series. We've known him as Skinny Pete. He's a meth dealer, a meth head, and overall just a waste of space in the world who just talks mad shit. But then they go to a music store to pick up this stuff to like mask it as like music equipment or no, it's for an extermination thing where they needed a box that was big enough to fit the machines in it for the meth lab, so that they could make it look like they were doing an insecticide bombing inside of a house, but instead they were cooking meth. And anyway, they go in there, and he sees this piano, and he comes up to it, and he starts playing on it, and starts playing beautiful classical music, just instantly right there. And therefore, this entire time, this character that we've known as this burnout, this loser, has this talent that was ruined by drugs, and it instantly developed his character within just 10, 15 seconds of screen time right there. That's beautiful character development that is real, and it's something that isn't like jammed down your throat like with an exposition dump. It's the characters telling the story, and it's through actions, not through dialogue.
That's something that I'm wrestling with as I'm thinking more into my story development stuff, is the show don't tell rule.
Yes.
Where especially, stuff the characters are already supposed to know, like the technology and stuff in the universe, or the the settings, things like that, or whatever. don't say that shit. Like, don't just spell it out into the story.
Well,
if you ask me, don't explain a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why I've kind of
Scott from Alien decided that he wasn't going to give any information about what is going on. Like, what are the alien eggs? What are they doing? You know, they mention a few things. I think aliens might possibly use them as weapons, but they don't really explain a lot of stuff. And you don't see the xenomorph until you see different versions of the xenomorph,
but you don't see the adult.
And that's why
near the end of the
I lean more to kind of the idea of like I release my book with kind of your standard like everything's story driven or anything like that, and like all the techno babble, all that stuff can be and concept art stuff can be put into a cool reference guide or something.
Yeah, like a reference guide
separately.
Well, you can do that, but then of course there's also what they do in John Wick. Whenever it comes to developing the world, the coins, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do it right, then absolutely it works.
Well, it's just it depends.
You gotta be careful about stuff like that because, like with Destiny, for example, people were pissed.
Right. Yeah. That and I never read or looked at the Grim Ward cards or whatever, so I don't know really any of that backstory stuff. It's kind of unfortunate because they didn't put it in the game.
Dark Souls it effectively. I would have it to where people can read about it if they want to.
Like Mass Effect's Codex or whatever, where it's in the game, so you can still, but you don't have to like stop the game, go on online and type in some fucking web browser where you can look at the game right off the bat. So
Doom 3, you can read the emails.
Oh, that's right.
Stuff like that to get information about what's going on, but you don't have to. You know.
And I know like in Mass Effect, like they'll have like new Codex item added or whatever, and you can just pop that right up. So.
World of Warcraft Classic, that's a big topic because a lot of people's like, oh, it's so hard. I'm like, yeah, you actually have to read the quest to know where to go. It doesn't just give you an arrow or a marker and says go here.
It's one of those things that I kind of struggle with because I love exposition and like backstory and all the world.
I do
stuff.
too. I do too, but eventually it can muddle down the storytelling.
But I recognize if you just hit somebody over the head with it with no good content, no good delivery or whatever, it's just dumb.
Effectively, it's like an.
I have to find a good middle ground with it.
As a friend of mine who writes, really, he calls it the exposition anvil, which if you drop the anvil on somebody, it will kill their interest. However, if you keep it floating, their attention will be on it and nothing but it.
Yeah.
You just have to keep it floating.
It's like level 60. Right here.
Kind of. Yeah.
And you just have to keep your eye on that carrot.
You just have to keep their interest floating with that anvil. But the very moment you overload something or you cut too much onto the rope, boom. You have instantly killed their interest by dropping it on their head.
Yeah. That's something that I found about video games. Like, I always enjoy, like, I got to get up to that top level. I got to get, that's the driving force for me when I play, like, Just Cause or something, whatever. There's, like, some kind of skill level you have to get to. And then as soon as I get it, like, the game suddenly plateaus and, like, then it's like, okay.
So WoW's kind of like one of them things. You get there to the high level.
Yeah.
You finally make it there, and you get there, and guess what happens?
It's like,
it just continues going up, and it's almost like it restarts, and it's like, oh, shit, I got to do this now. And it keeps people playing for a long time until the next expansion, which WoW Classic, they haven't said at all about doing any expansions or think about keeping Classic at Classic, which
WoW Vanilla. I remember when they shut down the WoW Vanilla servers, and my friends were pissed about that. And because a lot of people fell in love with WoW Vanilla and really didn't want anything more. Expansions are good and all that, but at the same time,
I think
if the expansion
goes up and
doesn't,
it hits a certain peak, and once it hits that certain peak, I feel like the next expansions shouldn't change any of that. It should anything kind of just give more content of the same level,
Of course. Well, answer me this, Nick. I'll get your opinion on
this.
Nick.
Batman.
Nick. Oh, okay. There you are. It's okay. I was gonna ask you and Jacob both your top 3 expansions that you liked and you would not mind seeing in WoW Classic.
Well, I only have 2.
Okay, 2 then.
Yeah, kind of mine's.
Nick, what are yours?
The thing is one of the ones that I don't like has to be. Well, a lot of the ones that I don't like would have to be in the game in order to put those expansions in the game.
Well, if they could find ways, If they could find ways to do it, though.
Wrath of the Lich King and Legion.
Okay.
Yep, I would say Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King.
See,
Skip
I hate
Kata.
Burning Crusade
Yeah.
because of Hellfire Peninsula. Hellfire Peninsula is a fucking hellhole.
It is. At the time though, it was different, you know, because you got the Hellfire and you grind through those first, you know, few levels there. Once you start getting to Zangarmarsh and Negron and Blade Edge.
Wait, you were probably not playing on a PvP server, were you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've always played on PvP server.
Well, that's why Hellfire Peninsula sucks. In my opinion.
Oh, it's
because the PvP in that area is just awful.
Yeah, of course they had the World PvP events where you control each zone and everything, but you know, Burning Crusade did bring a lot of elements. You know, the Blood Elves, which is my favorite class. I play a lot of Blood Elves. Paladin, it brought Paladin to the Horde, because before that, Horde didn't have one; they just had shamans. And
I think that they should just rewind retail back to Legion and leave it there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Because I think Legion was a really badass, like, pinnacle, and essentially it could have ended the story essentially there.
Yeah.
I would have been cool with it.
No, yeah, but I mean, I think all the expansions have a lot to offer. It was just delivered. They just dumped it on you really hardcore. There was so much changes between Legion. Like, you worked your way all the way up to your artifact power and get so much stuff done. And as soon as that expansion dropped, every single bit of that stuff, everything that you worked for was useless. Yeah, it was almost like starting back over.
Legendary weapons from the lore and stuff on your
Yeah.
characters at that point. So, like, you had gone from being like a nobody in the first, you know, vanilla and all the way through up to being like a legendary hero in Legion, and now you're back to battle for Azeroth, and you're still like, oh, they're all like, yeah, commander, like you're like a high-ranking officer in the Alliance or the Horde, but you're not nearly as powerful because they took away like artifact weapons.
Yeah. Well, the thing is the level cap. It has a big difference because everybody wants to play the in-game content, but while like vanilla, like when I'm excited to go home and play right now, it's not to play the in-game stuff. It's to level up with my friends and do adventures and stuff together. Now, like with BFA, you have to get to 120 before you even play with your friends, you know, and you level up so fast all the way through the thing. I mean, I think in 2 days I was level 46 on BFA. I mean, that's ridiculous, you know. I've been playing 3 days, or since Classic came out. What was that, 3 days ago? Yeah, I've been playing it quite a bit, and I'm level 11. It's a long grind, yeah, but when you're playing with friends, man, you have a good time, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, we do the role playing thing, which makes it even more fun. So.
Yeah, I can see that.
Goofing off.
Yeah, I imagine that's like when you have multiple people, you can like provide a commentary to it.
Yeah.
Hey Nick, what did you name your one character again?
I have a gnome, and I'll give you 2 guesses at what his name is.
Oh no, I'm not a Gnoblin.
I'm not a Gnoblin.
Try again.
I'm a Gnome.
It's not a gnome.
Oh, not a Gnome.
I'm not a Gnelf.
That's
not
nice.
a Gnoblin.
Actually, I tried for not a Gnelf on the first server we were going to play on. It was taken, so I named him not a Gnoblin. But then whenever it was full and we switched to Battle I got not a Gnome.
So what all again? Me not knowing anything about
now
it.
we're gonna get nothing but no meat.
What all races are in WoW?
So the Alliance has humans, dwarves, gnomes, and night elves. This is just in Classic.
Like night elves is in like dark elves or like
yeah,
just
they're
elves?
kind of like moonlight elves. They're
Okay.
purple and really tall.
Got it.
Two
Like
types
dark
of
elves
in
kind of.
WoW, and one of them isn't in vanilla. It's not to come in until Burning Crusades.
Yeah, and then the Horde has orcs, trolls, Tauren, and undead. So that's all you had. And
What's Tauren?
Tauren is these big cow people.
Oh,
Big, tall, giant
like Taurus kind of.
Like a
Okay, so
centaur,
okay,
like a
Tauren. So
minotaur.
okay, like
and those are your
Taurus.
races.
Well, Taurus, yeah,
And
Taurus.
races, and of course your classes are like hunter, mage, priest,
I can show 'em.
paladin.
Oh, okay.
Warrior, shaman. I think druid, which can shapeshift into other animal forms.
Basically, just all the ugly ones.
Yeah, pretty
got
much.
it.
Well, the Horde
So
is
very-
the Horde
very
is
Lord of the
Horde is very
Rings.
ugly.
Horde is the dark side.
They didn't get pretty till the Blood Elves came in, and it was like, oh, this character looks
We
badass.
have orcs. Undead.
Oh, it's a female Tauren. Female cow. A female orc. But yeah, it's a game of mostly about personalizing your character and where you play it, what type of role you play with your friends. And you can do pretty much anything you want. There's not too many rules boundary. If you want to travel across the world to the other end, you can go ahead. You might
having no intention of really ever getting into the game. I'll say that I'll be a heavy dude with a big hammer or something.
You would definitely be a warrior or a paladin.
Yeah.
If you're on the
paladin sounds good.
A dwarf or one of the humans are pretty stocky too. On the
yeah, some of them are.
Humanity first. Generation tech.
I just keep going back to that South Park episode. Make love, not World of Warcraft.
Love that episode.
Yeah,
I love that shit when he calls his friend up at like 4 in the morning. He was like, "Stop! I need to play World of Warcraft." He was like, "What? It's 4 in the morning. I need to play World of Warcraft now." What? And he hangs up. He runs to Best Buy and he punches some kid and he's like, "Move, bitch! World of Warcraft, need to play." And he runs in there.
Got to log in. Got it.
Go.
And then, and then he gets to his son. He gets to Stan. Randy's just like, he's like, "Son, I have this here. We'll delete all of his mana." It's like, "Dad, where did you get that?" He's like, "Doesn't matter. Here." How do you pass?
Right click the portrait in the left window.
It's like go to your inventory screen. Okay. Right, Control I. Okay. And then all of a sudden he comes out. The one guy comes over, stabs.
Okay, I gotcha.
Stabs Randy right as Stan gets the sword, and he's just like I've got it. Stan. And then
he's in Best Buy going.
Well, that's why I asked about the whole, like, if there's a punishment thing to dying in the game, because, like, in South Park, they made it look like they defeated this guy, and, like, that guy goes all the way to 0 or something.
RuneScape was rough. When you died on there, you lost everything. Your money, your gear, and it sucked.
Yeah, World of Warcraft, effectively, you reset at the graveyard, or can you respawn at your...
Yeah, it spawns you back at the graveyard with your spirit, and you have to take a long walk back to your body. If for example, if they camp your body, let's say a bunch of horde characters run and jump you, or something like that, and they're just waiting for you to respawn so they can come out and kill you again, that's called spawn camping, and you can resurrect back at the graveyard, and you'll suffer this thing called res sickness, which means it's usually about 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, you all your stats are like negative 25%. So basically, you're useless. So you can pretty much just hearth and teleport back to the city.
Yeah.
That's if you... Hearthstone has a respawn time of 1 hour, so you can only use it once in an hour.
Gotcha.
It's a very unforgiving game when it comes to all that stuff. You'll die a lot. It's like if I'm a level 10 and I take on another level 10, I can pretty much beat him. I can fight a level 11, 12's questionable, 13 I ain't fucking with him, and that's just pulling one of them. But if you pull more than 2, yeah, you're pretty much gonna have to run. You know, depends on how good you are with that character. And
I remember Nick, you were fighting Claybolds the other night. And kobolds. He was fighting kobolds. He was fighting kobolds the other night, and he runs in this house, and there's like 5 of them in there. He's like, "Oh shit!" Runs out.
It was a mine shaft.
Yeah, it was.
I started to run into the mine shaft, and all of a sudden, like 4 spawned on me, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, the whole ass.
Yeah, he ran out. And then all of a sudden, as he runs out, his friend who was with him comes in and helps
him.
Just a
random person.
Oh, it was a rando? Oh, man.
I've got something very funny that happened to me today on World of Warcraft. So, Lavina, she made a dwarf, and I'm in the human zone, so I go through Stormwind, through the portal to the Deep Rum Tram, which is a big train, and I get on this train, and this other dwarf gets on the train with me, and he goes down toward, like, the front, and he gets stuck. Like right inside this little part where there's like a guardrail in the area, and he's running in place.
Yeah.
And he's trying to jump. He can't get out. He's fucking stuck. Well, the train keeps going. I'm like, "Oh shit, dude, you're stuck." I said, "Dude, that sucks." And he was like,
"It's like
what
locked
the fuck?"
He was like, "What into the geometry or something?"
And then so we get there. Right? I mean, it's kind of a long 2-minute train ride. We get there, and then I get off of it, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, "Dude, hurry up, get out. And he just says, bruh, what the fuck?" And then that train takes back off, and he's like still hanging on to it, like he's still stuck.
He was like stuck in the geometry or something.
I don't know. It's like
I can hear him as the train's taking off. Instead he'll be like, bruh.
Yeah, he's like, bruh, I'm stuck. And then it takes back off, and I was It was just one of those things you had to see because of my vision. And it's so funny because I was laughing so hard. I sit there and waited for that train to come back. The train comes back and he's still stuck. And I said,
man.
"We meet again." And he was like,
"You know what? You know what? I actually would find it hilarious if like he started singing songs while he was on the train. He's like,
just stay there all day.
"Devil's driving that long black train."
I mean, stuck here. It's day 3.
Yeah, like all of a sudden he's like, "Guys, hurry up! I'm running out of train songs to sing."
Nobody knows the trouble I see.
And the thing is, the train is a subway that goes from one city to the other, but it's a really long way underground.
Yeah.
So if you use the character unstuck thing, the / character unstuck, it'll actually teleport you to wherever you're at, but it's up top on land.
Yeah.
In like a high level zone.
Okay.
So he just is like, "Fuck me."
Can you get attacked on this train thing? Whatever.
No. This is in a city zone, so.
One of my favorite moments when I originally played Classic was we were in this village in one of the Night Elf territories, I think in Ashenvale.
Mm-hmm.
And that village is built so that there are these little bridges that have a really, very circular arch.
Okay.
So, if you're standing on this side of the bridge and looking towards the bridge, you can't really see what's standing on the other side of the bridge.
Yep.
And, this was on a roleplay server, actually. And so we had formed a raid, and we were going to do, a roleplay raid of the next area over, I think, at the, I forget what that, Stone Talon, maybe? Mountains?
I'm not sure.
I think it was Stone Talon Mountains is what we were planning to go raid. So we have 40 people standing in Aberdeen on the other side of this bridge, right? And this guy in our guild, in our event server, walks up on the bridge and he's like, hey guys, there's two horde guys, level 60 horde guys standing outside here. It looks like they're about to attack the village. And we're like, oh shit. And so we all get ready and we're like, all right, on 3, everybody charge. And charge! And those guys just turn around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 2 people, me and you sit there, 40 people come. I'm like, oh, shit.
What those guys must have been thinking. They're like, what the hell? They had a whole
I'd be a hauling ass. Bubble hurt.
All of a sudden you just hear the charge of the Rohirrim from Lord of the Rings in the background. Na 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 na.
You came to the wrong town.
Yeah. There was a staple in my flip flop. I did not notice that. I brought my foot up here and I looked down like there's a staple in my shoe.
So going back to the other Star Wars for Episode 9, what do you think of that?
I thought it was. They
didn't
see much. So.
They kind of wasted the first minute showing us everything from all the other films.
Yeah, I thought it was a fake trailer at first. I was like, I clicked on it, fake trailer. I was like, I went to another source. It was like same thing.
It kind of seemed lazy. I don't know what the.
Well, here's what I think they're trying to keep some stuff shrouded in mystery about it.
That's fine.
Because J.J. Abrams is coming back to it after Rian Johnson steered the ship into
gone.
Dark territories.
If Rian Johnson was still anywhere near Star Wars stuff, I wouldn't even.
Here's what I'll say.
But
if Rian Johnson, they've actually said that they're probably going to try and give Rian Johnson his own trilogy.
I thought they
killed
that project.
I'd like that. I'd like for him to do that. But for him to come in and completely take what J.J. Abrams was doing, it's like
turn the wheel.
It's like all of a sudden it's like here's the beginning point, here's the end point. And J.J. Abrams starts out, he's like, okay, we're playing it safe, and then we can take risks in the next movie. Maybe do something. Oh, I'm not directing? Okay. Rian Johnson takes the helm of the ship. All right. And hold it. And then
feminism.
Let's see here. Okay, what's next? Okay, kill Snoke. Okay, kill Luke. And Leia has powers, but still doesn't know how to properly use them after
she falls into a coma after using it.
And then we're here. And then J.J. Abrams gets helm of the ship again. He's like, what the fuck did you do?
What do I do with this?
Shit. Okay.
No, he's probably thinking, God damn, fucking Rian Johnson made both the First Order and Resistance so utterly incompetent. How do I make them viable as any kind of characters whatsoever?
Let's do
They're
a swerve.
so stupid.
Let's do a swerve. Let's, here's
if
the
the
thing.
First Order was smart, they would have just blown that whole fucking mountain to pieces from space.
Yes.
They have fucking spaceships. Why don't they fucking?
Why do you have to land to go in there?
Hey, I got an idea. We got all these cool other Star Destroyers that still work, but let's go ahead and fucking slowly walk our way to this fucking door and shoot it. Perfect.
It did look cool, though. It did look cool. That the sand with the red.
As we've stated,
red salt.
the rule of cool is all right if there's enough of a logical leap there for it to make sense. It doesn't make sense. It didn't make any sense.
Hey guys, my name's Finn. My story arc is pretty much more or less wrapped up, so I'm going to go ahead and nobly sacrifice myself to save all of your lives. No! I'm going to ram you! I'm going to fucking T-bone you at 200 miles an hour for love!
Rose Tico. Look,
fucking stupid.
I have no problem with Kelly Marie Tran. Kelly Marie Tran.
No, I don't have a problem with her.
Actress,
I don't. It's not a racial thing. It's
no, not racial. It's character.
Yeah,
it's about the
character. Yeah, feminine. All that the shit that they fucking talk about Star Wars fans and stuff being the misogynistic stuff. It's
I don't care. Yeah, everyone wants to.
It was dumb.
It's the mass generalization. Like, Rian Johnson can't take when criticism comes his way. Because, you know what the one thing he did was, when he did Looper, which was a pretty decent film.
Looper's a good movie. He did that?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. That was fine.
And here's the thing. Cinema Sins did a video where they talked about where the time travel aspect in some cases doesn't make sense, but they still found it to be a great film. Rian Johnson saw this, and he immediately went on a little bit of a rant saying, I would say that I'm okay with this, but I just feel really dirty watching this and, seeing how people who've never made a film in their entire lives want to try and tell me how to make a film and what makes sense and what doesn't. And then I'm just like, Ryan, it's a stupid video on the internet of a bunch of people whose one of their main jokes is this scene does not contain a lap dance. That is a sin.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of Cinema Sins, even he'll put it in the little descriptor. It's a good movie, but it still has sins. He likes the movie. I imagine that the movies that he does he probably actually likes most of them.
He does.
He's not gonna go through the fucking process of breaking down a movie that he can't fucking stand and hates to death. Because it's unbearable to watch the first time.
There's some dude he rips into.
Well, that's fine.
I remember when he did The Room a long time ago. That was a hard watch for him. He said he had to go back and watch the Tommy Was So freak out. The bitch, you bitch. I hate you. Yeah. I went a little Schwarzenegger there, but anyway, he said he watched that scene about 10 times and came to the conclusion that Tommy Wiseau was an alien. He's like he has to be an alien. It doesn't make any other sense. He has to be an alien. Otherwise, I don't know, man. I really don't know. This hurts. This hurts to watch.
But anyways, yeah. No, so I'm willing to give the whole Star Wars thing another chance, and obviously this is supposed to wrap up the whole Skywalker era, whatever that means. But
I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping, but I'm apprehensive after Last Jedi. And I know there's people out there who say Last Jedi wasn't that bad. According to you, it wasn't bad. If you thought Last Jedi was the greatest film ever, more power to you. I hope you sleep well at night, and I hope that your taste in films are good.
Like I said, we talked about this before. I got mixed emotions on it.
It's beautiful.
It's a pretty movie.
Yeah, but
there are a lot of
lacking a lot of story and plot elements that are just kind of like.
And admittedly, I guess maybe it's some of it comes from over analysis. I mean, like the whole bomber thing, or whatever. Like when Poe and the bombers attack the dreadnought and stuff. There are a lot of things that like you look from that from a logical perspective and like. This is wrong. Why aren't they doing this? What the fuck is wrong with the First Order? Why haven't they launched their fighters yet? Why the fuck are the bombers flying so goddamn close to each other? They do realize space is pretty big, right? They can fly more than 20 feet away from each other.
It kind of gives it like that Star Fox element when he goes in there and he's fucking with him.
And that's
it calms and shit, and it keeps fucking with him. And
again, I can give it some defense as far as just like the vehicle itself is supposed to be reminiscent of like the B-17, they're trying to portray like that B-17 flying formation
Which
that
is
you'd
how
see
the
in World
original
War
Star
II.
Wars did. They did a lot of the
Yeah.
dogfights from World War II. A lot of the footage they got from there, from those dogfight movies.
Like the one criticism that I see everybody talking about, like, how do bombs drop in space?
Well, it has its own gravity.
Yeah,
though.
well, it's even if you don't say that it's like the artificial gravity of the ship, the fucking bombs can be on railgun launchers. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
If them throwing bombs at its itself, that's perfectly fine. My issue is like Poe can single-handedly go through and destroy every gun on this dreadnought without any fucking problem. And then these
style.
yeah.
Oh, and then not only that, but characters who are there for no other reason. I'm not talking. And Holdo's one thing. Benicio del Toro's character.
That was Hey guys, there's only one hacker I know that can do this, except for this other hacker that we haven't mentioned at all, and we'll completely randomly run into, and he'll be the guy that saves us. Except not, because he's also been hired by the First Order preemptively.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, he escaped from jail, helps them hack into it, turns them over, takes the money, and tries to run again. And it was just kind of flip-flopping.
Yeah, I don't. When exactly did the First Order hire him? Was it before he fucking broke out of jail, or was it after?
Well, no, he got reward money from turning them two in.
Okay, but like
because there's a big bounty on their heads from the First Order. But
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute, now don't the First Order look at who the hell? Oh, they're just gonna give anybody money? No, he was a prisoner wanted from such and such. They're gonna lock his ass up.
They're gonna fucking execute. They had no problem executing an entire village of people.
And then, of course, the waste of Phasma, a.k.a. the waste of Gwendolyn Christie, in that. Phasma was
At least they allowed her to fight in this one.
Yeah, at least. But at the same time, in this fight, I would have had her beat Finn. Because, truth is, she's
better skilled than
Finn. She is. She's a much more
she's
skilled warrior. And Finn, all of a sudden, deciding, I'm going to stand up for myself now. And did he learn nothing? What did he learn in between him having a coma by getting his ass handed to him by Kylo Ren at the end of The Force Awakens and him waking up? What did he learn that made him a much better fighter?
Totally reset his personality because, like, he went back to I gotta flee for my life instead of risking my life to save people.
Character.
Yeah,
no character growth. All just so they can shoehorn in Rose Tico and her sister's storyline and all that. And then, of course, there's the casino scene, which makes no sense logically. It's like we're saying something here. It's like no shit.
I mean, it would have been better if they had completely skipped that casino scene because they were talking about like how those transports or whatever had cloaking ability, which clearly didn't really fucking work out to their advantage. But they could have just literally, if they had a cloaked type ship, just go from the fucking cruiser that's trying to get away and go to the destroyer. Why do they need a hacker to fucking? I mean,
well, apparently, the First Order's IT program is kind of under budget. I mean,
no shit.
That's
because they put all of their fucking resources into building larger and larger super weapons.
Hack them through the air conditioning system. That's
yeah.
what
Oh, and then not only that, but I'll be honest. The scene, there was a scene where the suicide run in Lightspeed and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool visual.
Very
cool
visual. You talking about that Kessel run in Solo?
No. When Holdo drives the cruiser into like Lightspeed or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about when she suicides through the
yeah.
thing? Yeah,
Which
I thought that was pretty bad.
Should have been Leia.
Yeah,
should have been fucking Leia. I mean,
Akbar. A lot of people said it was supposed to be Akbar, but they changed it because of.
a guy named Akbar on a absolutely no fucking respect for Akbar, dude. They just kind of killed him off.
Yeah, he was just in the background.
Yeah, he's dead now.
But what do you guys think of Rogue One and Solo?
Rogue One I liked a lot.
Rogue One is probably one of my favorites.
It's one of my favorites. Too.
Not counting not counting the Clone
Darth Vader's
Wars
fight scene in that where he just comes in, lightsaber out, just starts destroying everybody.
I was aroused watching that. I was like,
Solo was actually pleasantly surprised by because I expected
Solo.
it to be kind of
I actually did watch.
But it was actually pretty awesome.
Solo I actually went back and did watch, and while I will say this, I love Emilia Clarke, but her character was pointless.
I thought her character played pretty well, but I don't understand like the continuation of her character where she falls in. That's I mean, but it was that love interest that kind of kept the betrayal thing going.
Truth is, with Han Solo, he shouldn't have a love interest. He should be like Star-Lord.
Well, he has a reason because I mean he's ever since the original Star Wars he's attracted to women.
I know he's attracted to women, but at the same time, he doesn't get attached.
He stays solo for a reason, no pun intended.
Yeah, he doesn't get attached, and and as much as I love Emilia Clarke, and Emilia Clarke is a hell of a pursuit, at the same time, he's not going to be someone who's going to risk his life for someone like that.
I think back when he's younger, he would have, and that's why he just doesn't trust anyone, doesn't care.
Probably that could have been used to that advantage, but
of course, even in,
but they didn't portray it that way.
And even in I guess the episode 7, his relationships with them, he's a good guy. He's just old and grumpy.
No, the character development that he had throughout the original trilogy completely cast asunder to make him a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
Because why not? Because why would Han Solo grow? It's not like he went through some of the best character growth from from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi. From number one,
everything was fine as a kid, but when he sent him off with Luke, Luke's the one that fucking flipped shit and kind of pissed him off. And of course, I mean, he's gonna rebel against somebody that's trying to kill you, or he thinks.
Well, of course he is. Well. And that whole scene to me didn't make sense because Luke, the most powerful Jedi practitioner, still in human existence and human form, is all of a sudden gets this doubt in his mind.
So I've never liked Luke Skywalker as a character. I think his acting was great, but like he was never one of my favorite characters.
In truth, I never liked him much either. I mean, I've never been a fan of the white meat babyface. I've always liked Han Solo better. Yeah, but at the same time, them adding that depth to Luke and showing him that, if for anything, I would have had it to where he went to talk to Ben Solo in the middle of the night, and was going to confide in him that the true nature of who their father was and this and that. And it would be that
he just has a big misunderstanding with the Force.
Well, and it would be that would turn Ben Solo into Kylo Ren. Yeah. That's what I would have done. I wouldn't have had Luke Skywalker go full on like that.
I'm gonna murder you.
I'm gonna murder you, kid, because I had a bad dream. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That said, the one thing I didn't really mind about Jedi was how they portrayed Luke in certain ways, because I do like that idea of like
him reverting to being a hermit.
Well, yeah, him more pragmatic about it. He's more he has more knowledge of what the Jedi actually was and stuff, with the things they did as far as like more or less kidnapping children to raise as pretty much child soldiers and stuff, and how they justified that. And I mean,
the stormtroopers do.
Well, I know what I'm saying is the Jedi as much as we want to say that they're the good, like, versus the evil kind of thing. It's a lot grayer than that, and like I haven't read any of really the Jedi books or like any of the Star Wars books, but I've heard of like the gray Jedi. That was an older
practice. That was a lot older.
Yeah, like I've heard of like the gray Jedi and stuff.
Whereas later on, I forget which Jedi Master it was, but they outlawed the kidnapping of children, and instead they would seek out orphans who had a natural predilection for the Force. But they would ask the children if they wanted to, and most
later like ask parents if they're children.
And they would ask.
I think it was like in times of war they would just straight up kidnap them. But
exactly.
Still, I mean, it was
very heinous. Well, it's just like, for instance, the Texas Rangers. For the longest time, the Texas Rangers answered to nobody.
Right.
And it wasn't until I think it was the 1950s when they finally were signed back into law and being put back out there that they actually gave them restrictions. Be like, you have to report directly to the governor. You have to see checks and balances. Yeah. You see, every great empire has been built on the backs of something terrible. No matter which one you look throughout history, there's always been something terrible. Like, for instance, Alexander the Great killed so many people to conquer most of the known world. Same thing with the Mongols. The Mongols raped and killed over 30 million people within the span of 30 years.
What I'm saying is just like, I actually like that as far as Luke being kind of grittier, jaded, grittier, less, super ultra optimistic and stuff. He's kind of like, okay, fuck the Jedi and the Sith. We're just gonna fucking go on, like just straight down the line. Yeah, and I actually would, I would like if you kind of ruined that illusion there at the end, where it's like, I am not the less Jedi, where it's implying that the Jedi will go on.
They were not.
Well, truth is, I liked what they did with Yoda and everything, and I liked what they did with the destruction of the old tomes. Pretty much, this is a new starting point. For the Jedi.
And I think, because I think
that's beautiful.
It's very, because when George Lucas, first developed, I think he had a lot of inspiration from a lot of East Asian culture.
He did.
For a lot of stuff like the yin and yang. For it, and so it makes sense that just trying to go with how the Jedi see things or how the Sith see things is not the right way. It has to be a balance of things.
Yeah, balance.
And so if that's how at least how this movie can kind of wrap things up, where they kind of find that middle ground, it can kind of clean things up nicely as far as, that's how it should be. There's not, you have to have reason and emotion combined to how you live life and stuff.
And I think that's a brilliant story and a way to tie it in.
Anyways,
and if only they would have done that. Yeah. But instead of Luke being there at the start and guiding Rey throughout this film and into the next film, and in the next film have Luke die and have Rey's training be completed there, instead, he just fades out and Rey's already a Jedi.
And now you have to deal with the whole they have to deal with the whole Leia situation because Carrie Fisher's
dead. She's been dead now for 40 years.
Unfortunately, they're going to have to do
straight. Carrie Fisher dies.
No, she's been dead 2 years, sorry.
Okay, so what we saw in episode 8
was the last of her full footage.
So you seen most of her full footage. Was any of that CG besides her?
Some of it was. Some of it was.
And I'll probably have to do like a whole
on the trailer that we just saw
CG on her.
It shows her.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, that was something.
CG, or is that just something
that's a body double and that's a face double that has been modified in a little bit. To be
I thought I heard something like that.
It looked really good. Like I'm not gonna lie.
I heard that was some like behind the scenes. Yeah, I thought that I heard that something like that was behind the scenes from The Last Jedi. But I could be wrong.
There's some stuff that they probably are going to be using from The Last Jedi, like B-roll and secondary footage that they never use, alternate takes.
There's so many different shots that you can get from.
You go back and actually, there's deleted scenes from the original Star Wars that actually had a lot of character building for Luke that showed Luke and his friends.
Yeah, is it kind of like the Jabba the Hutt scenes?
Way before that.
Okay.
It was Luke, his life on the farm and everything, and it showed him like looking up at the sky with binoculars with his friends.
When he showed Steven Spielberg and who was the other guy who showed it too, they pretty much didn't like it at all.
No, they didn't like those scenes right there.
So he took a lot of criticism from them and kind of used that to. I mean, he recut it like 50 times.
Well, of course. Well, you want to have it to where it's going to be palatable for the public.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice your vision. Mm-hmm. And once again, director's vision versus
pacing is a hell of a deal when it comes to keeping people's attention.
Yes, and that's one thing I worry about. I worry about will my vision be accepted by the public, or will it be derided? I mean, that's something
it's all about how you decide you want to put it together, and you got to make it happen. And it's a pain in the ass because I'm bad about, like, when I write it, I kind of write like a novel, and I'm like, well, shit, when I actually film it, we need to completely just get rid of the dialogue and just show that all in one shot. And it's like, well, damn, you just explained up. I mean, a lot of times you can just take a good cinematography shot and tell you the whole story in one shot. I mean, if you can collapse a whole scene.
Fincher's a master at that.
Into certain things, yeah.
Fincher's a master at that, dude. I mean, his cinematography. I mean, how he works with Cronenweth is just it's spellbinding watching those two work together, and how they come to a conclusion on how do we tell the most story with just one scene, just one shot and one scene.
That's what actually my film school tries to get us to do with a lot of our shots. They want depth. They want stuff in the background. They don't ever want you filming in a corner or up against a wall. No, they're like, no, you want to decorate every little thing that's in the image needs to be on purpose.
Yep.
From the that's before lighting.
Oh yeah.
And then lighting comes up, and then it changes the whole curveball, and you got to move shit just to make it look good with lighting, and it's by the end of it, what happens is you've rearranged your whole entire living room just for one shot.
Yeah.
And then it's like, damn. Hey, I think we did something like that, didn't we?
Yeah, I guess
we shot something like that before, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. God.
Oh, yeah. So, but anyways, do we have any more memes lined up?
We got one we can close it out with if you want.
Sure. That'd be cool.
We got one for an hour and 50 now.
Okay. Yeah. Almost 2 hours, so yeah, we need to close it out.
This is from Autistic Gamer.
Autistic Gamer! Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, the drop kick through the...
Oh, yeah, I've seen this.
Oh, that kid.
Those kicks are so terrible.
No wind up to him at all.
Show me a move.
Oh, that's... Oh.
Piss out my ass.
Oh. Right the kisser.
Yes. Coco. Punch.
No,
there you go, Mr. T.
Punch the shark.
Coco kick. Coco. Punch.
Right the boot.
That's titty punch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coco. Punch.
Right the coop.
Show me a move.
Big laughing in the background.
Punch! Yeah! Punch! Yeah! Punch!
Wind it up with her teeth.
Yes!
Yep.
Coco! Punch!
Swat.
Coco kick!
Nice swat.
Coco! Punch! Coco kick!
Nice try.
Show me a move. Punch!
Oh.
Coco kick! Yes!
Win. Get up.
Coco! Punch!
Is that the audio from like a...
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Look at that skill.
What was the
I
audio
will
from?
kick you with the most like fragile side of my foot.
Yeah, my
Just, like,
ankle.
right here,
My
my
ankle
ankle,
bone.
Your
my
Achilles
ankle
tendon.
bone. Just gonna kick you with it.
Achilles tendon to the face. Number one place you want to hit somebody with your foot is right here, because that's where all the tension goes.
Yeah. All the power of your bones.
The heel works pretty good.
Oh, the heel works too, but Stephen Wonderboy Thompson hit Jake Ellenberger in the head with 2 spinning heel kicks.
Yeah.
Dude.
I trained with Stephen Thompson at one point in time.
He
did a seminar. Well, wasn't really a seminar back then because he wasn't a pro at the time.
Yeah.
Mountain Empire.
Well,
Mixed
him and
Martial
his dad Ray are 2 huge like karate and kickboxing practitioners. Stephen,
him and Josh Boer would train quite a bit, and Stephen Thompson was. There's a reason he went.
Well, he's the Wonder Boy, dude. He in terms of striking, he's one of the best. I mean, his hands and feet are so fast. And he actually kicked Jake Ellenberger in the head with his left heel both times, and he actually had bruising right here so bad he limped, but he limped in an awkward way to where he actually he didn't rupture it. He very severely strained his meniscus, and he actually had to have fluid drained from there because of that, which.
Yeah, just in training in MMA, I did a ton of damage to my body. Like, I was always tore up. If it was had my foot swelled up so big one time I couldn't fit it in a shoe. Yeah. And I had to wear, like, flip-flops to work, and my boss was like, you can't wear flip-flops in here. I'm like, dude, my foot is swollen like purple. You can't see that.
It's like, look, man, then find me like a big-ass
size
sock.
15 shoe.
It's not like I did any heavy lifting. All we did was
find me like a big ass sock or one of those shoe things that goes up to the ankle that covers up the shoes.
But I fucked this foot up. Both my knees would get jacked up where you get these sharp pains because we were on our knees a lot in jiu-jitsu training and stuff like that. But then our shoulders would give up. You would hyperextend muscles a lot. Yep. And my wrists were always sore. I mean, I always had headaches because like you're constantly training. That's a lot of cardio.
Wait, did you do like meathead sparring where you like actually like would go all in with guys?
Yeah, we sparred probably 5 nights a week, and then
Jesus,
2 times in training, and that's rolling in between. So, and then that was in the evening, and I used to go to the gym first thing in the morning before I go to work.
As Donald Cerrone and Joe Rogan call it, that's meathead sparring, because light sparring, where you're working your techniques out.
We learned our technique and everything.
But if you're like going all in with a guy,
not all in.
Okay, that's
not
good.
All in.
That's
good.
That's a fight, not sparring.
No, it was like that's sparring. But like on the last hour when we had fight camp, when you actually had fights coming up, everything, they would have us go full in. They said, well, if you're in fight camp right now, it's not about learning technique because it's only 8 weeks. 8 weeks isn't enough time to build muscle memory in you. They said they need to capitalize on what you're good at and push you through your possible limits to push you further and further and further up. And then
it's finding out where your plateau is.
Yeah, and then we had to cut weight with water weight and stuff like that. So you're dehydrated, no caffeine, meant headaches all the time. So I was actually explaining to Lavina earlier, I used to have an addiction to goody powders.
Well, me.
I used to those orange goody powders. I'd buy a whole box of them and go through those in like 3 days. Like it was nuts.
Yeah, my thing is, I don't eat that much, but yet I can't lose weight. That's I just keep the weight on. I don't know why it is.
Yeah, I'm
just a naturally big-bodied guy.
Yeah, but if you train for like 6 years and stuff like that, you've got your technique down so well. Where you're pretty much good. Then it's just focusing on pushing yourself.
Gosh. You want to talk about technique? You know who should have stuck with their technique and they'd probably still be champ?
Who?
Ronda frickin' Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
Because here's what I'm gonna do. My coach tells me I'm an elite striker now.
No,
I've been doing boxing lessons now for like 18 months. I'm gonna go up against Holly Holm, who's been boxing since she was in diapers, and I'm gonna go up against Amanda Nunes, who's been a Muay Thai practitioner since she was 10.
If she would have stuck with judo and putting them on the ground, she would have done a lot better.
Yes.
You can't go toe to toe with people that's got better striking skills.
Exactly.
They're gonna
but no, her coach Edmund Tarverdian, fuck you Edmund, was just like, oh Ronda, you're super tough now. You can beat anybody.
I'm very critical on stuff. I mean, I'm no expert or anything, but for the 8 years that I did it, there was shit I learned within the first 6 months that I see people in UFC doing wrong all the time.
Well, yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are these people doing? Where do they get these people?
Well,
the Ultimate Fighter.
No.
You've been fighting for a year and you're fresh out of high school? Sign me up.
You know what I would have done? Here's what I would have done. If I were Ronda Rousey's, like a friend of Ronda Rousey's, I just said, hit up Greg Jackson, or hit up Faraz Zahabi, or hit up Matt Hume, like the wizards who know how to work through a good game plan and can make it to where you will win every time.
Yeah, that's what we do in jiu-jitsu too.
If I wanted Ronda to get better at striking, I'd have hired an elite striking coach like Dwayne Bang Ludwig, who literally tears fighters down. Makes them unlearn all the shit that they've been ingrained in their head by these bullshit boxing lessons and shit like they've seen, and instead, hey, here's the technique, practice it 1,000 times, and come see me tomorrow.
Yeah, and see, in our training thing, it didn't matter what skill level you were on. We had some days where we went back over the basics of stuff. Proper arm bars. Like, okay, we noticed your triangle needs some work. Your legs need some work. Your striking definitely needs some work. And they would work with you on these things. But they would say, here's the technique we're going to learn today. And we're going to do it 1,000 times till everybody's is great. And we're not moving on to the next technique till everybody nails it like 20 times.
That's like when I got into kickboxing. My coach, whenever I did like a kick, I thought I was doing my kicks pretty well. But turns out I wasn't turning my hips into it well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta blade it with the hips.
And then when I tried to turn my hips into it, it was effectively it was like trying to watch a drunk person. It was like trying to watch a drunk person practice
it's rubbing your tummy and patting your head at the same time. At first you're kind of now switch it up. Now pat your belly and rub your head at the same time. If you had to go back and forth, it's gonna mess you up a time or two. Anything that's unnatural, that's what martial arts is. Stepping with your foot first to lead into this right next, placing your hips in the right direction to get the most momentum and power out of your strikes.
Well, yeah,
it's
and
all
also
science,
and also don't overcommit to a strike because you will get laid out every time.
Every punch or strike that misses will hurt you way more than it hurts them.
Yeah.
So, you're essentially just
like,
damaging your own
especially
cardio.
if you're throwing 100% like all the time. Like if you're wanting to find your range with somebody, 20%, like 20%. Like
work those jabs, work your range, but don't rely on that. And don't keep doing that often because
No.
we're gonna learn that real quick. And then
of course,
yeah,
that's when you got to start throwing in feints.
that's when you have to bait them too. You bait them and read them, and you bait, and they'll fall for bait. People do all the time.
Kung Lee's one of the best at that.
Yeah.
I remember when he was fighting Rich Franklin, and all of a sudden he noticed that Rich Franklin, whenever he threw the leg kick, dropped his left hand down like that.
Yeah.
And Kung Lee, he didn't check that kick because he was trying to find out where Rich Franklin's range was and if Rich had any tells.
Well,
and then Kung Lee saw that and he was just like, okay, he throws that kick again. Instead, I'm going to step in and I'm going to check it, and then I'm going to overhand right hook.
The difference between Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir. Brock Lesnar made a day one, Jiu-Jitsu 101 bad rule, and he stuck his leg out there like an idiot.
Stepped it right between Frank's legs.
You just gave them your queen right there on the chessboard,
Yep.
and then he took it right over and flipped it into
a leg. It was a leg
knee
lock.
bar. Yeah, it was a knee bar, and tapped out. Done.
Yeah.
Now $250,000 world championship UFC fight right down the shitter because something that you should have learned and practiced day one. That's
because Brock never did jiu-jitsu. He only did wrestling.
He did wrestling, yeah. But that's the thing I don't understand. Is
all I need is my double leg takedown and my weight.
Yeah,
somebody give me a chair.
Yeah, shouldn't the people in UFC be like top tier martial artists?
Well, in terms of wrestling, Brock's a 2-time national champion.
He is in wrestling.
I'm assuming I'm assuming UFC get paid at least a decent amount.
Not really.
The lower tier fighters, no. But if you're on the main event, you're almost guaranteed half of quarter to $500,000.
Yeah, I would hope so. If you're getting
$250,000 for a championship
likely
fight.
to get your ass beat, I would want some money out of it.
Which here's the thing: if someone told me right now, dude, all you got to do is get in that ring and last a round against this guy,
and you get $80,000,
and I'll just be like,
let's
done.
Do it.
Done.
Hands up the whole time.
Show up. Dude, I'll show up there. I'll go back to my house with a black eye, and I'll just be like, I'll put a slab of meat on my face and be like,
worth it.
So we're over 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been on the ramble.
We have something. It's a minute and 43 seconds long. It's the classic WoW reveal trailer. You want to end the stream with it?
Sure. Why not? I wonder if my mom's trying to call me.
I'm at peak tranquilizer.
Everyone, a toast to 15 years of World of Warcraft.
Here, here.
We met many years ago upon a dusty road. You, a humble priest, and me, a feeble rogue. We were the weakest of the weak, the lowest of the low. But when we fought together, our legend did grow. We battled our way from Blackrock Spire to Molten Core. Took 40 hours for Ragnaros to only wanted more. Our days of being weak are firmly in the past. And now our shields are stronger, our bones are built to last. So, whether you're for the Alliance or if you're for the Horde, it's time to toast to 15 years. Everyone raise your sword. No enemy can defeat us. There's no battle we can't win. When we crunch the numbers, stand together and
There's Rhonda.
Hold on! I have a little news for you. Something of a treat. Are you ready to travel the Azeroth on your own 2 feet? We're going back to a place where anything can kill you. So polish your shield, sharpen your axe. We're going back to the
That was an awesome little promo video for Warcraft. That was awesome.
That reminds me a bit of that.
That was actually Leroy, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
it? Yeah, because I know he's like a pro WoW player now for Arena.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins! And he says it just like it, too. I was like,
She stick to the plan, guys. But that reminds me of that PlayStation commercial a long time ago. It was all the PlayStation characters in a bar, and they were all sitting there and drinking and everything. And then they were all telling and regaling stories of like, when I was at my worst, he saved me. And then it's like, when the whole world's going crazy, it's like, all of us have been made better. Because of Michael! And then they look up and it's literally a picture of a kid playing his PlayStation like... And it's like, to Michael! That was a good commercial. You see, whenever they
had some really badass commercials there for a while.
Well, it's because they had that one guy. You remember the guy who was always like retorting back? It was like that one kid's like, "Does PlayStation have good graphics? Pfft, does it have good graphics? Is a cow fat? I don't know. Is it? Yes, it is."
I think I remember even before like the PlayStation 3 came out, like back in the PS2 days, they made a commercial for like the PlayStation 5. Like it was a gimmick or something.
Yeah, I remember.
Where like
that.
it was like you're like in this whole VR thing or something. Or whatever,
yeah.
Which kind of seems now that we're looking at the next generation of consoles.
The Sega Genesis commercials when you just look in, you're like, and you go into the TV, and all of a sudden you're playing through the game, and like all I can say is Sega.
That's it.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in. This was yet another episode of Renegades Ramble.
Yeah, it was The Greatness Awaits.
Yes,
The
greatness awaits.
Badass.
Yes, it was. So, thank you all very much for tuning in, and I guess until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
Jacob.
I'm Ron.
I'm Nick.
For the Horde!
For the Alliance!
Oh yeah, let me bring out my wallet from high
For
school.
the
Yeah, there you go.
Republic?
Except I'm playing Alliance on classic.
Okay,
right now.
yeah.